So we tried going live with this, and it just doesn't seem like there's the type of audience that, like, I don't know where these people come from, particularly like on other channels I have. They're just, they're not even abecedary or small-minded. They're mutant people. They have strange reactive ways of trying to survive, and it becomes obvious. And then they want to demonically charge you with exactly what they are, which is just as a reactive base thinker. So they're looking for base. So when I just came out and flexed like a fat fuck not caring, kind of wanted to see the reaction of what people thought of me. Where it was like, I've sacrificed myself for other people. I've willfully gone through this and hoped that there was something, not necessarily capricious, that's their words, but something pure. And now what we found in society, as I've really pumped this message out there into the field, is that purity is something that can be mimicked, right? Not true purity, but purity and principles are something that can be mimicked. So we see people mimicking this for gain. Still being largely undeveloped, still being people that are not self-emanating and not self-motivated. So what we see is that the main protagonistic issuance order has to come from within, from a sacred, holy, or divine place, and all those words are blasphemy to the actual meaning of it, right? But I'd like you to consider for a moment a very touchy subject where there's been a lot of mass killings, there have been a lot of serial killings, and these are subjects that have to be taken very lightly in the media, but what's really going on? Like, what's really going on? So you could have somebody that does such an act, who does so because they see that this is a matrix, nothing's real. They begin to see how their parents aren't real, that how everybody's based on a codified construct, and even more so, they may have had some sort of paraliminal or holographic, what we would consider hallucinatory experience that led them to going through this sort of trial. And as part of that trial, something told them, why don't you just do this? Or they came to the conclusion that if nothing's real and if nothing really has value, and if I'm trapped in this, I'm trapped in a prison, then I'm going to do this, you know? Kind of hints at Timothy McVeigh and Invictus, you know? Or Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, being another person who probably didn't want to be gay. Like, you know, you see this whole gay mafia that seems like a joke to people, but it's like you take people who capitulated to an energy that demanded for them to be a deviant aspect of themselves if they're going to enter into a successful campaign at drawing people out and convincing them that through like a pyramid scheme, right? They don't even really know who's at the top. You know, there's all this speculation about an octopus or a spider and over again, or an alien at the center, an energy that doesn't require the command of the human form, right? Or an anthropomorphic form that says, I am a flesh suit, right? Something that has possibly, it doesn't look like it transcended beyond it. To me, it looks like it just got to the well first. And once it got to the well, there was no challenge and there was no need to refute it. Really bizarre. I'm talking about like a godship or a godhead. Maybe what's been referred to as Mu, later Hathor, and many other names, Isis. I mean, it goes under so many different names. So, and then you have the conceptualization then, that's a little more founded and rational, but also is equally, if not more bizarre, where you have these control mechanisms where they can go right into your brain, give you orders, and tell people to commit these serial killings or mass murders. And then you always see that there is some sort of occulted zodiacal agenda to it, that it's intermixed with a sort of statement to the gods or a godhead or a god that this occulted organization serves, and then goes even more toward a holographic aspect of the holographic universe, where it's like, if I do live in a deterministic, like the blue pill, red pill, if I'm a blue pill junkie, if I always go back to the blue pill no matter what, and I love that steak, and I love to be, you know, within the matrix, because everything outside the matrix is dirty, there's nothing lavish about it, there's no opulence, and I want the idea of antiquity, or this antiquarian idea that things age gracefully, and that, you know, the older something gets, and the craftsman, and the smell, and I love cars and engineering, instead of seeing what utter bullshit the first car was, and how it never should have been produced nor mass produced, or airplanes, that this technology, you know, this UAP technology or anti-gravitics pretty much always existed from our viewpoint. Now, when we begin to look back at campaigns like Alexander the Great, frescoes and depictions of UFOs and ufology and all this other bullshit, all these terms, right? Then the Wright brothers were a farce. Lehman Gilmore was a farce. All the people that were popping off with this information were just basically drones or robots that were being sequestered, right? So, you know, I talk about this quite often, like what's real, what's not real. How can you posit or postulate yourself as real? And that's really at the crux of all of this, and that's where really the investigation that we try to go into, where we're really looking at this going, you know, how can I posit myself as real or anything else, and then therefore how can I take anything seriously if I see through it? But here I am still stuck in it. I can play with it, I can challenge it, it instantly refracts back. I can go through strange lessons with it, and even go into a certain, well, even like a language model, like it understands what you're saying, it understands what you're thinking, right? So this is what gets people thinking based upon a computational subset. But what if multiple, you know, when they look at multiverse or many worlds, right? What if several different artifacts are on running at the same exact time?